So on this question, we're writing a polynomial function has least degree and rational coefficients, so we don't want any square roots in it. We don't want any imaginary numbers in it. Leading coefficient of 1, and here are zeros. 2i and negative 3 plus square root of 5. So really, this only looks like 2 zeros, so you might think, oh, it's got to be quadratic. But since this one's the first one is complex, you actually have plus or minus, and the same thing with the irrational one, you have plus or minus, because those things come in conjugates, so there's really 4, so you should expect to have a 4th degree equation here. So the shortcut on this is just to set x equal to 2i. And now if I square both sides of this, I get x squared is equal to, when I square 2i, I get 4i squared, and I squared is negative 1, so this is x squared equals negative 4. Now just add that to the other side, and I have x squared plus 4 equals 0. Here's the first factor. It's a quadratic factor. I'm going to do the same thing on the irrational one. So x is equal to negative 3 plus the square root of 5. This one's a little bit more complicated because first we have to get this 3 over here. So add the 3 over, x plus 3 is equal to the square root of 5. Now square both sides like we did before. So square the left, it's a perfect square trinomial, x squared plus 6x plus 9. And the square and the square root on the 5 cancel out, giving me which is 5. Subtract the 5 over, and I have x squared plus 6x plus 4. Okay, so one last thing then, just to multiply those things together. So when I multiply them together, here's my function. F of x is equal to x squared plus 4 times x squared plus 6x plus 4. So I told you when you were taking it, you could have left it like that. If you went through the trouble of actually expanding this out, let me just do that in another color. It's just a whole bunch of distributing, and this would be x squared times x squared. There's our x fourth. X squared times 6x is plus 6x cubed. X squared times 4 is plus 4x squared. Now multiply everything by 4. So 4x squared plus 24x, and then plus 16, which gives us an equation of f of x equals x squared plus, how many cubes do we have? Only that's 6. And then x squareds, we have 8 of them, plus 24x plus 16. Now we can call that done.